How do you get over anxious avoidant attachment style? Today, I'm going to go over 10 strategies that you can implement that can help you overcome this anxious avoidant attachment style. Hi, my name's Lee, and this is part two of Anxious Avoidant Attachment Style, the Silent Relationship Killer. This is where I'm going to go over some of the tools and techniques that I've started to implement that have helped me start to heal from this type of unhealthy attachment style. Let's dive right in. Number one, develop self-awareness. So think about how you're reacting in certain relationships. What triggers are showing up to cause you to act a certain way? What behavior is present at the time? Are you more on the extreme anxious side, or are you more distant? Are you more to the extreme avoidance side? Start to think about those things. What's happening during those moments? What is your partner saying or doing, or what is your friend saying or doing? What's happening at work that's causing you to display those certain behaviors at those times? Reflect on past experiences. They could be from your childhood, they could be from adolescence or even an early adulthood. Relationships that may have not been healthy that have started to lead to the behaviors that you display now. Just think back to some of those more, I would say, core memories or big moments in your life where you could say, yeah, I think that was kind of a key moment in my life, and it could explain why I display a certain behavior when this type of situation arises, right? It could be, for me, I think I shared in the last video that rejection is a big trigger for me. So I think about the times where I was hurt, or betrayed or something like that, and I felt this deep sense of rejection. I know that that is the biggest trigger for my anxiety side, where my biggest trigger for my avoidance side is actually let me kind of backtrack a little bit. So on the anxious side, it's more when I feel rejected. So either put down or ignored, or maybe even flat out rejected. Those are going to kind of trigger my anxious side. I'm going to wonder what I did wrong. I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to try to be the nice guy and see if I can push a better outcome or a resolution. I'm getting much better at that, but let me tell you, that's probably my biggest trigger. Now, on the avoidance side, it's more when someone does me wrong. If they betray me, turn their back on me, anything like that, then I'm typically just going to peace out of that and just be like, well, I'm just not going to talk to you. Now, that doesn't mean that if I get in an argument with a friend or my wife or someone like that relationship's done. No, arguments are going to happen, and that's okay. That happens in healthy relationships. I'm talking about more of a deep betrayal or something along those lines where I'm going to be more detached, or if there's a behavior that keeps happening over and over and over that I've already said, hey, I can't really live with this, then I'm going to become more detached. Number two is practice self-compassion. So just recognize that you develop this attachment style, you develop these behaviors early in childhood as a defense mechanism. Certain relationships didn't make sense to you. For whatever reason, they just didn't make sense to us. We knew that this wasn't the loving and nurturing relationship we were supposed to have. We knew something was off. We didn't feel strong enough or good enough or smart enough. So whatever those shortcomings we felt we had, we started to develop these defense mechanisms that turned into this attachment style. So having that self-compassion and realizing that this didn't happen overnight. It happened a long time ago and has cemented along the way. We just need to give ourselves a little bit of grace and be willing to work on things and know that it's not going to be perfect right off the bat, that this is going to be a work in progress. So along those lines is to avoid self-criticism. One of the things that comes along with unhealthy attachment styles is this kind of beating ourselves up, being our own worst critic. And that's not healthy either, right? So we need to develop more positive self-talk, develop a growth mindset. Developing a growth mindset doesn't mean you're going to be perfect overnight, but it does mean that you recognize that you can improve and you're willing to do the work to improve. And that's really one of the best things you can do. So it's not, although affirmations can be helpful, and they're actually in some of the research I looked at, I really think it's more about just developing that growth mindset and improving there, And if you want to throw in affirmations, then great. Actually, next on the list would be to start to say positive affirmations. Now, this can be kind of the standard recommendation that you might see where they're saying, hey, you want to say this 10 times in the mirror: I'm good looking enough, I'm good looking enough, or I'm smart enough, or I'm smart enough. And whatever that positive affirmation is, I'm a great person. And I think that's okay, but have you done that before? Because I've done it and I don't know, I didn't feel comfortable, didn't really like it that much. And maybe that's something I need to work on. Maybe that is something valuable I still need to implement, but I didn't do it enough or get comfortable enough with it. But what I have done that I would consider positive affirmations is when I'm meditating or when I'm praying, I'm showing gratitude for the improvement I have made. I've worked pretty hard on myself and I've done a lot of things and accomplished a lot in the last few years to improve myself, definitely physically, but even now doing all the inner work. I'm pretty proud of that. And so when I look at it that way and when I word things that way, like, hey, you're growing, you're getting better, you're getting leaner, you're getting stronger, you're getting wiser, you're working on yourself. When I say it that way, it's way more powerful than if I'm just looking in a mirror doing, repeating it 10 times. It's powerful because I believe it. I feel it. So I think you can approach affirmations that way as well. Really think about how far you've come. If you're watching this video, it's because you have a growth mindset. So just know that you're already taking steps forward that other people haven't. So I definitely think that's important. And that's how I would approach affirmations. Number 3, develop emotional regulation skills. So things like deep breathing, mindful meditation, things that kind of keep you in the moment, that can help you down-regulate heightened emotions, that can help you start to display more healthy emotions. So the mindfulness meditation that it's kind of like the affirmations I just mentioned earlier. They keep me in the moment and they help me realize that, hey, things are pretty good. Yeah, I've got challenges in my life, and yeah, there's things I need to overcome, but I've put in a lot of work and I'm doing pretty good. So maybe if I feel attacked or maybe if I feel rejected about something, maybe step back a little bit and just like, is this me perceiving this? Or is this just a moment where I'm kind of having an unhealthy reaction? Am I having an unhealthy emotion because I'm truly being rejected or I truly feel bad about myself? Or is this just a automatic response because of the programming that I have? Being in the moment like that mindful meditation can help me then process those emotions and be like, no, hey, this is what you always do. Here's a better reaction, and this is going to lead to a better outcome. And along the lines of reducing anxiety and regulating these anxious emotions is deep breathing. So it's one of the strategies that have helped me sleep better at night. So I think I'd mentioned in another video, I think it was my self-care video, where I talked about how my sleep has improved from doing my nightly mobility work and then a lot of deep breathing as I get ready for bed, especially as I'm lying down. I think the deep breathing exercises really do kind of pull you back into the moment. They slow down your heart rate. They help you gather your thoughts. So I highly recommend deep breathing as a tool to help regulate emotions. And to that end, and along the lines of regulating emotions, I think exercise is number 1 for me, especially strength training. The 2 things I do that help me the most with my anxiety are the daily walks that I take and then the daily strength training that I participate in. Number 1, nothing has worked more than that. So does it fix everything? No, it doesn't, but it does help immensely. So I highly recommend, if you're feeling stressed or anxious, go for a walk. Get the morning sun, especially. I do 2 30-minute walks a day and they help me a lot. Sometimes I'll even go on more than those, especially if I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed on certain days for whatever might be going on in my life. So walking is crucial, getting those steps in. The other thing is, like I mentioned, lifting weights. I do believe that strength training has helped me more than anything as far as self-improvement and self-growth. I highly recommend a workout routine that includes strength training and then, of course, getting your steps in every day. Number 4, challenge negative beliefs. Work on reframing negative thought patterns. Think about your relationships and, why do you act certain ways in certain moments? How can you have a healthier response in those relationships? Know that your programming doesn't have to stay stuck in those negative thought patterns. Start to think of new behaviors you can replace those with. And that can go a long way in developing those healthier relationships. So challenge those negative beliefs, challenge those negative thoughts and beliefs, and replace them with more positive ones. Hey, real quick, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you like the content I'm providing, please consider liking and subscribing. Back to the video. Number 5, improve your communication. Work on ways to express your needs, your desires in a healthy way. Learn to advocate for yourself. Be more assertive, but in a healthy way. Start with lower stakes. Just be like, no, I don't want to have that for lunch today. I don't really like that place. I know we've had it a lot, but to be honest, I just really don't like it. I think I'm going to go over here and do something else. Why did I use lunch as an example? Well, like I said, it's a low stakes thing. It's not going to make or break a relationship. So start with things that are a little bit easier, like training wheels, and work your way up into asserting your needs on bigger ideas and bigger things. Learn to express your needs and your desires in relationships. You don't have to do it in a mean way, disrespectful way. Just learn to improve your communication so you can get your needs across in a healthy way. Use I statements. I feel hurt when you do this. I feel rejected when you do this. I feel unheard. I feel disrespected. Or on the flip side, I like it when you say this, or I like it when you do that. Just learn to express your needs and use I so that you can develop your identity in these healthier relationships. And along the lines of improving communication, set healthier boundaries. Have your non-negotiables. I can't live with this. I can't do this. I won't put up with this. I'm not going to come home every night and have you drunk every night. I'm not going to live with someone who's addicted to drugs or alcohol or whatever that may be. Have your non-negotiables. I'm not going to be with someone with a fixed mindset. I need to be in healthy relationships with people who have a growth mindset. Set those boundaries, learn how to say no, and be an advocate for yourself. That's helping me a lot right now. Number 7, gradually increase vulnerability. Start with your close circle of friends. We all have those, just a small circle that we trust and that we love and that love us and that we know are not going to judge us and we know that they're going to be there for us. So start with those friends. Let them know what you're going through. Let them know the help that you need. Use those relationships to build on developing healthier ones because those people already love and care for you. So be vulnerable for them. Let them be there for you, just like you want to be there for them. That's a good way to start with a vulnerability. And then you just gradually share more over time. As you develop healthier relationships, you share more with those newer relationships. But it has to grow over time. So start with the people you already know, love, and trust. And that leads into number 8. As you're increasing in your ability to share and be more vulnerable, you're going to be entering more secure relationships. You want to seek those out. You want to seek out those secure relationships. People who seem to, as you observe them, you just know that they're those people that you just think, like they get it. That's the kind of person I'm talking about. The ones you look at and you're like, man, they just get it. They have typically secure relationships, and you can observe how they handle their family relationships, their romantic relationships, professional relationships. You can observe those things and pick up those healthier behaviors and learn from that. And at the same time, don't be a leech. Don't just gain from them. Be of value to that friend as well. Offer value into their life. Be there for them when they need you. Show them some things that maybe they need help with that you can help them with. Provide value in those relationships, because those are going to be some of the best relationships you'll have for the rest of your life because they're already used to having a secure relationship. Number 9, develop self-soothing techniques. So this kind of goes back to the develop techniques that help reduce anxiety, right? So it's a little bit repetitive, but I think it's different in that it can be more all-encompassing. So what do I mean by that? This could be all the combination of your self-care routine. This could be the breathing exercises, the daily walks, the working out. This is almost more like having a toolbox so that, okay, when this occurs, I know this helps me the most. So having those self-soothing techniques can be extremely helpful. use positive self-talk as well. So this kind of combines the affirmations. I saw a video from Jim Rohn where he talked about acting as if everything always works out for you. And I thought that was a pretty cool video. And if most of you might be familiar with Jim Rohn, so great material. And I was listening to this video, and he was talking about how acting as if everything always works out for you, and you really act as if, then it typically will always work out for you. And it's not some magic fairy dust. What it is that if you act as if everything always works out for you, by default, you're putting in those daily activities that lead to things working out for you. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy in a positive way. That's where people start to talk about manifesting, right? So are you manifesting because it's some magic force in the universe? No, you're manifesting because you put out an intent. I want this to happen. I want this relationship. I want this job. I want this, whatever this outcome is, you've put that out there. And if you put it out there and do nothing about it, that's just a wish. That's a dream. But if you put it out there and you put in the daily activities that support that, the daily habits, then that becomes what you achieve. So it's like I talked about earlier with outcomes. If you don't focus on the outcomes, you'll usually achieve them. It's a healthy type of detachment. Like, I'm going to detach from this outcome and I'm going to focus on the daily habits that I need to get there. Then that's actually usually leads to you achieving those things. So same thing with a healthy attachment style. If you act as if you have secure attachment and you have healthy relationships, then you're going to by default have those because you're already acting as if you're putting in the daily habits that lead to those things. That is a really cool self-soothing technique that probably doesn't get talked about enough. And lastly, number 10, educate yourself. So watching this video, watching other videos, podcasts, reading books. I highly recommend John Deloney. When you're listening to or reading his books, you can see some of these unhealthy attachment styles manifest in the stories that he tells. So pretty cool to get his insight. Very entertaining guy to read, entertaining guy to listen to. So I highly recommend his material. Of course, like I said, read books, listen to podcasts, educate yourself on not only how to recognize this unhealthy attachment style, this anxious avoidant attachment style, recognize what it is, when it occurs, which emotion are you displaying at that time? Are you more anxious? Are you more avoidant? What triggered those things? So educate yourself on the topic, but then start to dive deeper and educate yourself on how it's affecting you and how you can improve on it. Like I said, I haven't mastered all these. I'm learning about this myself and I'm working on it myself. I'm not where I need to be, but I am putting in the work, and that's where I'm seeing the worth. I've heard a phrase called the work instills the worth, and it really does. That's where I value my self-improvement right now. It's not in an outcome that I'm attaching to anything. It's not an outcome that I'm attached to. It's the daily habits. It's showing up at the gym every day. It's hitting my daily steps. It's eating the right foods. It's taking in the right content. When I put in those daily steps, I feel much better about the process and where I'm headed. So if the outcome isn't exactly what I had in mind, I know it's going to be far better than where I'm at now. So there are the 10 steps that are helping me overcome the anxious avoidant attachment style, and I hope they can help you too. If you feel that you're overwhelmed and that you've implemented some of these strategies and they're still not helping, and you feel that this anxious avoidant attachment style is negatively impacting your relationships and you're struggling with that, I highly recommend you seek professional help so they can help you implement these strategies, and maybe even more that can get you on the path to having more secure and healthy relationships. If you like these strategies and you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.